Hello everyone and welcome back to the Hexagon Challenge here on Shaun Does FM. I hope you are doing well today. A bit of deja vu, as I said at the end of yesterday's episode. We're back taking on Cape Town City in our last game of this half of the season before a month and a half break at the end of December here in 2030 in South Africa. It is a Champions League group game this time, and hopefully we can pile the misery on these guys a bit more after beating them in yesterday's episode, where we did take out the Telkom knockout final, which I will leave a link to in the top right corner if you did miss out on that episode. But before we crack into this, if you're looking forward to today, make sure to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you're new around here or haven't done so already, also hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well, so you can keep up to date with any videos dropping on the channel. And hopefully when you see me next, I'll have a green screen so this white background won't be behind me, which is a little bit yuck. I've thought it would arrive by now, but it hasn't arrived yet, so unfortunately it will probably be in the next video. I'm filming this one on Tuesday. Next video that I'll film should be on Thursday, and hopefully it will be at my house by then, so we won't have to put up with this white background blocking a fair bit of the screen the next time you see me. So good stuff for the channel, hopefully. But today we are taking on Cape Town City, and before we get into this game against them, it is first, second in the group, but as you can see, if we can beat them, it does give Tetuan or Stade Malien a really good chance to go above them, so that would be probably ideal. The less South African teams that get through to the next round, in our case, the better, as long as one of them is us, because that should mean that the remainder of the teams in this competition are a little bit easier to beat, and I'm basing that off what happened in Oceania rather than what could happen, because I don't really know, but I would imagine that the teams from the nation that is loaded into this game are going to be better than the teams from nations that aren't, and that definitely did prove the case in Oceania with Hamilton Wanderers. But before we crack into this game against a team who I anticipate are going to be very similar to the one that we took on yesterday in that Telkom knockout final, we did have 2 Premier Division games, and we remain unbeaten to go into this mid-season break with a nice cushion at the top of the league table. First off, we took on Maritzburg United with our rotated team, and we're able to pick up a good 3-0 win at home here. It took us until right before half time here to get our first goal, and it was through the player who came in for Cordinho. Makizi got a goal nicely there for us, and we were 1-0 up. In fact, it was just after half time, that goal, so we did have to wait until the second half to get things going, but then we did. Mitch Kalaki, another goal for him. He's been really good since coming into this team with the injury to Nunes and Mamade, so he picked up the second of this game. And then right before full time, Makizi putting a ball over for Paulsa, and all of our front three who started this game were able to get goals, which you love to see. A good 3-0 win there, and a pretty solid performance. Maritzburg getting a few shots off, but in the end, looking at those stats, it's fair to say we deserved that victory. So we go on to our next Premier Division game, the last one before we took a break. It was against the Black Leopards, who did look pretty decent for the early parts of this season. They were looking like the team who could possibly jump up to second. That didn't eventuate because they didn't do enough with their games in hand. But in the end, we took these guys on. They're still a pretty decent mid-table team, but we beat these guys pretty nicely 4-0. This time with our full strength 11. And unlike the last game, all the damage in this one was done in the first half. Kenny Mahua in the 8th minute, making his way down the right-hand side, puts the ball in the mixer. It falls to Welcome Boyce, and he thumps it into the back of the net to give us an early 1-0 lead. Then we get into the last 10 minutes before halftime, and we really kicked into gear here. Walters outside the box, Malangu to Kenny Mahua, slots that away coolly into the bottom right corner to make it 2-0. And then 2 late goals in added time of the first half. Kubika keeping possession there. Malangu with a shot, and then Boyson chipping the goalkeeper off the rebound. A nice finish from him there to make it 3-0. And then they give the ball away here shortly after the restart. And Malangu is through on goal, gets past the first defender and thumps it past the goalkeeper at his near post. And we pick up a 4-0 win. A pretty quiet second half, but we did enough in that first half, as you saw, to pick up a very thorough victory there. And we remain unbeaten in the league so far this season, which is good stuff. So we'll have a quick look at that before we get into today's game. And we are now 5 points clear of Bloemfontein Celtic at the halfway stage time-wise in this season here in South Africa. We haven't played half of our games yet. We've still got 2 games to play, but we do have a game in hand as well on Bloemfontein Celtic, so that gap could push out to 8 points, which would be very nice indeed. And we know that Bloemfontein Celtic are probably our biggest threat in most of the competitions that we're playing them in these days. after they did beat us in that MTN8 final when we tried to get our first trophy of the season here at SuperSport United. But if we can get that 8-point gap on them when we get that game in hand, that would be very nice indeed. Now, also coming up in the save is actually the African Cup of Nations. So what I've done is I've gone around the teams, just seen if any players are available to bring in for trial, and there were quite a few. So I'll show you guys these players who we've got in the club at the moment. We'll go down to the bottom. You can see there's plenty of them, which was nice. I went through the under-23s and the under-20s of all these nations at the AFCON as well. We're still getting full scouting knowledge of these guys, but you can see potential-wise, we're keeping around the guys who have got more than 3.5 stars. There's a guy there, Manjoba, who looks like a decent goalkeeper. Hopefully that's true, because I wouldn't mind another goalkeeper. I'm still not sure about the players who we've got here in terms of our goalkeepers at the club. That's an area we might be looking to strengthen in this transfer window that is coming up, and I'll run you guys through a few more established players who we might be looking at after this game against Cape Town City for the upcoming transfer window. It's probably going to be a quiet one, but we'll see about that. We'll see what we have in terms of money after getting that goalkeeper, but you can see a lot of players that we do have on trial at the club at the moment, and hopefully we can pick the ones who look good up. Obviously, we're only allowed so many foreigners in the first team, and most of these guys are foreigners, but we can definitely hoard them in our under-19s in the reserve team anyway. So if they look like they've got a bit of potential, we'll chuck them in there, and hopefully they can bolster our under-19s who have been a little bit up and down so far this season. All the under-21s have both been a bit iffy, but yeah, we've got a lot of players on trial here at the moment, just seeing as that AFCON popped up, and it seemed like a good opportunity to see if there were any hidden gems not picked up by clubs in there. And based on what you can see, there's a few who we could definitely bring into the club who might develop over the years. Whether they develop while we're here remains to be seen, but we've got a lot of players here on trial at the moment. Hopefully our dynamics are still good. Gone down to very good. I think it was excellent before in terms of club atmosphere, but that's kind of expected when you bring in so many players on trial. But we'll crack into this game, the last one of this first half of the season, and if we can get a good result here, hopefully Cape Town City might be facing a little bit of an uphill battle to get out of this group, but we're looking to put ourselves in a very good position to qualify top of it as we take them on again at the Cape Town Stadium. We'll come back with team sheets in the game shortly. Okay, and here are the team sheets for this game. They are swapped the other sides than they were in yesterday's episode, but Cape Town City, yet again, the home team and their team looking reasonably similar to the one that we took on. Obviously, they do not have Gordinho, so maybe that's something we need to keep in mind registration-wise. Maybe that's why some of these players that were brought to the club weren't able to be registered. Maybe there's something there about being cup tied, but we'll no doubt find out in between episodes, between today's and tomorrow's. Once that registration window does open back up, I'll be able to dive a little bit deeper into what's going on with this Champions League registration here in Africa. But otherwise, their team looking fairly similar. The likes of Aventura as a player who have come across before. They've got Makezi, who got a goal against us, and they've also got February still in goal, and Sabisi on the bench was the player who also got a goal against us yesterday. So they're looking fairly similar, a few changes, but mostly the same squad that we took on yesterday, and our team is exactly the same as it was yesterday. A few changes on the bench. Gordinho has recovered from his injury, so is back into the mix there since that game that we played off camera, but pretty much the same lineups, and hopefully we can pick up a similar result against these guys, put us in a great position to qualify top of this group. And yet again, as the away team, just like yesterday, we are in the red this time, and Cape Town City are in the blue. And yet again, they'll be kicking off, but this time in the first half, they are playing right to left. And as I said, a similar result to yesterday's, we would take, not for a trophy this time, but it would certainly put us in a nice position to go out of this group on top with the other teams struggling at the moment. We put a ball into the mixer early, is cleared away from Cape Town City though. We get possession back there through Mateza, but the highlight ends and it's 0-0 early doors. Yeah. Okay, it's been a little while since we've had to bust out the Mark Richardson, but we have to, which is a bit unfortunate, and I'm really concerned about this one too. It's Kenny Mahua. You've seen his stats, you've seen the amount of goals he's been setting up and scoring. That's a concerning injury, so we're going to have to take him off here after only 4 minutes. That certainly makes this game a little bit interesting. Our most creative player on the pitch, I would argue, is going to be going off. In terms of bench options, I actually think Gordinho can cover the right wing. He can, and he's 3-star rated. So while it's a little bit different to what I'd usually go for, I'd go for like someone like a Batsaka or Monyane, but with this registration, we don't have the likes of Nunez in the squad, or he's currently out injured, or Mamade, who isn't registered because for some reason he can't be yet. So we're going to have to bring on one of the free options down here, and I think Gordinho does look the best one, but we're certainly going to be missing something on that right wing, but hopefully it doesn't bite us too much in this game. Down Mahua as it's 0 after 6 minutes. 9th minute, and it is a throw in to Cape Town City, although we do hit the ball away nicely, although Led Waba collects it back for them. Mofa King over to Nkosi as they look to build something early, and this could be a bad start for us. McKeezy has a shot, it's blocked. That is, oh, sorry, I say blocked, it's hit the post, and we do clear it away for a corner. That's a good chance for Cape Town City. In early doors, we're on the ropes without Maha, it's fair to say, but hopefully from this corner we can sort of somewhat, I was going to say calm the ship, but they put a ball back into the mixer after we clear the corner. Gumadi finds the head of Mokoena. It's a really good header by him. Top left corner. And just like that, Cape Town City opened the scoring. You can see it was headed back out by Kubika for us. He puts the ball back into the mixer, does Gumadi. That's a really nice header from Mokoena. Not much Gunga can do about that. And we're 1-0 down after 10 minutes. 14 minutes gone here, still 1-0, but we do have a corner as we look to strike back. We put it into the mixer, headed away, and Faro is beaten to that by Gumadi. That's a little bit slack from him. In fact, that's a change from the last game I forgot to mention, as he tries to chip the keeper. Obviously, Mokoena out for this game, so I think that's due to suspension, but still 1-0 as they tried to chip the keeper. It didn't come off after 18 minutes. 23rd minute, and we have a throw as we look to get an equaliser here. Gordinho, the player off the bench for Mahua, makes his way down the right, puts it into the mix of the shot, blocked out to Walter's heel of a crack. It's very messy, but we do keep possession. A couple of chances there, but the Cape Town City players are getting their bodies into the way at the moment as Kubika holds the ball up for us here. Faro in for Mokoena today. Mofa King is offside there, but we did create a few chances there, but they've just got enough bodies in the way to keep them from going on target so far as it remains 1-0. Another corner here for us shortly off the back of that last highlight. Walters puts us in, and it is headed straight at February, I think, from Mahua that time, and it does remain 1-0 as they... that was interesting. I took my eye off the computer screen for a minute. I'm not sure if the goalkeeper bird then to a teammate or the teammate just cleared it away after getting rolled out to him, but either way, the corner doesn't eventuate to anything, and it is still 1-0, but McKeezy makes his way forward, Fallow with a good interception for us. And maybe we're going to build an attack after that bit of sloppy play at the back from Cape Town City. It has to be said as we get close to the half-hour mark and we look to get on the score sheet. Boyson slots Malangu through, hits the post. That was a thumping strike, but maybe he should have gone for placement over power. Still 1-0 as we get close to the half-hour mark. 29 minutes gone here. We do have a throw-in, but it is inside our half. We will look to go forward soon, though. And we play Malangu through. Good long ball. Hits a shot. Misses the target yet again, this time the side netting, but we're starting to create stuff. 1-0 after half an hour.
Yeah.
And Rigger's back, and would you believe it, just like the last game, Percy Gordinho has come off the bench and got injured. I might have to stop using him as a bench option when a player gets injured because he just seems to go the same way. So we don't really have many options now. It's either Butsaka or Monyane looking at this, and out of those two, I'm not really sure, though. Oswin Apollos can play there, and he's a bit more match fit than those guys. I can see they've both got the red thumbs downs, whereas Apollos is on the sort of flat yellow line. So maybe he's going to be the best option for us there. So I think we're going to bring him on, but 2 injuries in the same position so far is not ideal. You look at his stats, he should actually do a pretty good job for us in that inverted winger role, just looking at what you can see on screen from him there. We will make that change, but we already used 2 subs before half-time, and we are 1-0 down. Into added time in this first half as we look to get an equaliser before we go into the sheds. Otherwise, we'll have to rev the boys up a bit here, I think, albeit the injuries certainly haven't helped. We try and play Apollos through there, but the ball is cleared by Cape Town City, and now McKeezy, who scored a goal against us in yesterday's episode, drives for good slide tackle there from Faro. Although they give a penalty. Okay, it looked like he got the ball first and then kind of on the follow through, the Cape Town City player went down. So hopefully this gets overturned because it looked pretty soft, and indeed it does. So VAR on our side there, but that could have put us in a really bad position. Luckily it remains 1-0, although we do have a free kick shortly off the back of that. Dubé gets his head to it. Oh, good save from February, and Cape Town City do clear the ball away. We look to get one more attack going before half-time. Starting to warm into this game, it's fair to say. And now we have a shot. Malangu gets his head on the end of that. A good reactionary save from February. And indeed, we are going into halftime 1-0 down. And we haven't said that much in this season so far here at SuperSport United. We're certainly creating enough chances to have gotten a goal in this game. Maybe we're just taking a little while to recover from the injuries to Mahua and then Gordinho, a couple of players stepping in on the right wing. You can see Kubek is not on a great rating. Neither is Mofa King. Who else isn't going great? They're the two main culprits at the moment in terms of ratings, but we don't really want to be making too many more substitutions with only one left, so we might have to stick with these guys, give them a bit of a rev up at halftime and hope that we can get, at the very least, an equalising goal, because at the moment, Cape Town City are on top 1-0 as we get into the second half. The early highlight in the second half, and it is a throw to Cape Town City, so they look to get a second goal, which would really hurt us here, but hopefully we can keep them out. They have a shot, it hits the post. I'm not sure who that was from Cape Town City, but a powerful strike hits the post. That makes up for the early effort from Malangu, but it remains 1-0, albeit somewhat luckily. We're kind of clinging on for our dear lives here at the moment. We had VAR overturn a penalty late in that first half as well, so a bit lucky in our last few efforts. They have a shot blocked there and the goalkeeper committed, so at the moment it feels like Cape Town City are on top, although Apollos with a nice run down the right-hand side on the counter-attack here, puts the ball in the mixer, and welcome Boyson gets a goal, and we're back in this. That's just what you want to see. We've been on the ropes for a little while in this game, something we are not used to here at SuperSport United, but Apollos from that attack that was with the block shot from Cape Town City makes his way down the right-hand side. He can spot Boyson just in enough space to get a volley away, finds the bottom right corner nicely, and we're back in this at 1-1. 58 minutes gone, we have a free kick from Doob. We do take it short, deep in our half, and we look to play out from the back, and hopefully we can somehow get in front in this game. Doesn't feel like we deserve to be leading in this game at the moment, but we've got back into that. It's a really poor pass. We try and play Malangu through. Has a shot, it's in the back of the net, but he's just offside. Tell you what, that was a good chance if he was on, but still 1-1 after 62 minutes. As they have a free kick here to Cape Town City. They look to go forward. McKessie gets past his defender and forces a tip over the bar from Gunga. So they are still coming at us here at Cape Town City. A draw in the other game as well. So at the moment, things all square in this group on this match day. We hit the corner away. Apollos tries to get on the end of that one as well. But still 1-1 as we get to the 65-minute mark. And I think we might make our last substitution here as well. Most of the players have recovered rating-wise since halftime, but Mofa King has not. He's been pretty good for us most of the season. We'll bring the youngster Rashad Malloy on for him just to see if we can create a few more chances from overlaps with that left back going forward. And we've got 25 minutes to go to try and get a win in this game. Shortly off the back of that, we do have a free kick. Walters, oh, that is a pole driver of a free kick. Didn't even try and put that over the wall, and we are 2-1 up somehow in this game. As I said, not sure if we deserve it. It's an interesting angle for this. They haven't shown it. You can see he just goes for that top left corner, catches the goalkeeper out somewhat. That's a really good finish. And it's 2-1 here to SuperSport United. So we've come back in this game, and that is a great free kick from Walters. Usually Kubeka takes those, but good to see we've got a few players capable of that in our team. And we now play Malangu through, looking for a quick double. And this shot is from a tight angle. The goalkeeper keeps it out. 2-1 as we come to the 70-minute mark. 70 minutes gone, so a couple of highlights in short order here. We have a throw-in, and Malloy unfortunately gives it away to Mokawena, and now Nkosi down the right-hand side for Cape Town City. Gets past Malloy, they have a header, hits the post. Not sure if Gunga got a hand to that to tip it onto the bar, but either way, we're certainly riding our luck in this game. Still 2-1 after 72 minutes. 76 minutes, and we have a free kick in our own half. Again, we take it short. Dubé and Faro knocking the ball about. If we can get another goal, that would be very nice. As I said, not sure if we deserve it all. That's a nice touch from Boyson. Tries to put one in the back of the net. February forced into a diving save for his right to cover that near post. But we're starting to get a few more attacks going. It's a header, and it's fallen to Malangu, and the goal stands. I thought someone might be offside there, but we go 3-1 up. Yeah, we've been riding our luck in this game. I'm not sure if we deserve this sort of scoreline. The initial header was from Mahur. It's been blocked, and the goalkeeper just doesn't get a sider on the rebound from Malangu, and we go 3-1 up with 10 minutes to go. 83 minutes gone. We do have a goal kick. We take it short. Sorry, a free kick. No way, that's a goal kick, but we take it short. Hoof it long. That's not a great decision as we give Cape Town City possession back, and they're certainly looking dangerous today. White man, and he puts that on the wrong side of Gunga. So some pretty poor play from us there. and we've gifted them away back into this game. To be fair, they probably deserve to still be in this game because this is the most threatening that Cape Town City have looked against us so far this season. White man just burns off, I think that's Malloy, so he's not had a great time since he's come on the field. Buries that away nicely. It's 3-2 with 6 minutes to go. He will just slow down the tempo here, I think, because that seems like a smart thing to do. Try not to blow this lead. But yeah, we are up a goal, but with only 4 minutes to go, hopefully we can hold on for this win. 89th minute, we have a goal kick. Gunga takes it short. This time we find a teammate, so hopefully we can, on a lower tempo, just hold possession a bit better than we did last time when they scored the goal off it, and we can hold on for this hard-fought win. It's been a really good game, this one. Glad I showed you guys this one in the end because I wasn't too sure if we should show another game against Cape Town City, but this one's been an absolute cracker. We do get a corner there, which is good to see. Just slow down the clock as we approach the 91st minute. We have a corner. We somewhat got a goal from one of these last time. It was a little bit fortunate. Mahua gets his head to it again, but puts it over the bar, and it remains 3-2, but we are inching closer to full time. Hopefully no highlights like this one could be. Cape Town City with a throw in. It's in a dangerous position. They have a cross. It is blocked. Boyson then kicks it straight into a Cape Town City player. We will get the throw in, which is quite nice, I suppose. And that is full time. As I said, that was a really hard fought win. Cape Town City came at us more than they have in any other game so far this season. You can see, though, we did have to deal with injuries. Maher and Gordinho on the right wing. That certainly didn't help us in the first half. We were 1-0 down at halftime. It took us a little while to get going in that game, it's fair to say, but once we did, we clicked into gear and pick up a 3-2 win. We gave them a chance late through Whiteman. They took it, but luckily we hold on for a 3-2 win. Both teams hitting the woodwork a few times, them more so than us, but we'll definitely take that win. A really good game that was. But we do hold on for the win over a predetermined Cape Town City team, and that will put us in a nice position to be qualifying top of this group. We'll come back shortly, show you guys the overall standings in the Champions League groups, and then we'll also check on these injuries and have a look forward to the upcoming transfer window. So we are checking these injuries straight off the back of that win. One of our most hardest fought of the season, it has to be said. That Cape Town City fought it to us a lot more than they did in the prior games that we played against them. But we've got some injuries to go through before we run through the other things. Now, Kenny Mahua is out for 5 to 7 weeks. It's a fractured lower arm that he could play through. I think we're going to be able to tell him to go see a specialist because we do have that month and a bit break coming up. So in terms of timing for injuries, not that bad actually in terms of the time for when these injuries could happen. So I think we'll tell him to go see a specialist. We'll tick that, and Gordinho out for 3 to 4 weeks. That one will also recover by the time that we are back for the next part of the season. So serious injuries, so not great, but also they've kind of come at a nice time of the season, which is a little bit lucky for us, I think it's fair to say, in terms of injuries. So not as bad as it potentially could have been there. So we'll have a look at these Champions League groups. Bloemfontein Celtic were able to pick up an 8-0 win over the Katsina United, so they are well and truly back on track now, top of their group, albeit only 3 points separating the top three in that group, so it's certainly not all she wrote in that group halfway through. But Bloemfontein Celtic, the team that we are definitely keeping an eye out on in this Champions League at the moment, and they are top of their group, so looking pretty decent for them, albeit not in as strong as a position as we are at the moment. We go for these other groups. I could try and tell you guys what's happening, but we don't really have much of an idea about these teams, so I may as well not tell you. I will notice that ES City do look the best of the rest based on their group position. The team from Algeria, which makes sense because Algeria does produce some very good players in this save. And we go down in the Tetuan did pick up a win in the other group game, so they go above Cape Town City by 2 points as well. So they're in actually a decent position to be qualifying second, but you'd imagine Cape Town City are going to come right in this competition at some stage. If they play like they did in that game against us, they should definitely be finishing second, but potentially just one more win could see us qualify top, so that might be what we come back for in our next episode. And if we can secure top qualification, we can forge on with the season a little bit more off camera to progress things along a bit more and then come back for the knockout stages. But we're in a really good position, really should be finishing top of this group now. We have put ourselves in a nice spot to be doing so. But before we come back for tomorrow's episode, I have a transfer window to play through now. Overall, with the squad, we'll go to the tactics screen. I'm pretty happy with what they're doing. So that's what our first team looks like at the moment. Mateza and Olivares are somewhat interchangeable. It's just with Champions League registration at the moment. We've got Mateza in there. So the squad looks pretty good on the whole. Wing backs, I don't know if we're going to improve them much here in South Africa. To be honest, they don't really have the overall nice stats that you get from players in Europe and somewhat South America. Wing backs are actually really hard to come across quality ones in this game. Anyway, the one area I'm still considering improving is goalkeeper. Gunga has been improving from what he was doing earlier in the season for us, but that average rating still not quite in the green. He's actually definitely, as I said, improved, but it is an area I'm definitely looking at improving, considering we still do have 3 million euros in the bank and we should be able to do a bit with that. So if we go to our position and we get off these released players who we've brought into the club, now there's some interesting options which we could bring in here. We're probably going to be going for someone who's quite clearly better than Gunga, star rating and attribute wise. The obvious choice is Kosti Christodoulou, and there's a few reasons for that. If it's a name that's familiar to you guys, there's a good reason. He was on the bench for the MTN8 final between us and Bloemfontein Celtic, so he is a Bloemfontein Celtic player. We could pinch him from them, and he wouldn't be able to play in their Champions League, which could help us out a bit. It cost $1 million. We might be overpaying for a player. He's not very good aerially, but apart from that, he's weakening a rival. He's in the Dream 11 for the South African Premier Division, so clearly he's good enough. Got a couple of South African caps. I think he's probably the favourite for a goalkeeper that we will be signing. And if we look at his information too, he is actually from Pretoria, so he would be a local player. So it isn't entirely a pinch just for the sake of it to weaken a rival. He is a player from the town that we are based here at SuperSport, and he looks like a decent option for us. There's a couple of other options. Michael Mlotshwa is from Mamelodi Sundowns. He might be a little bit more well-rounded without being as good in some areas. Would be a cheaper option. So he could be someone that we go for as well. I'll just compare these guys when we do make the decision off camera. Petar Atanasov is a Bulgarian goalkeeper over at Ludogorets. We could get him in. It fills a foreign spot, and with all those AFCON trialists, not sure we want to go down that way at the moment. He's actually currently in the Champions League, 4 appearances, conceded 4 goals, 1 clean sheet though, so look, he wouldn't be a terrible option. He does want to come to the club, a Bulgarian international, so we wouldn't have to worry about work permit. He could be worth getting in, and otherwise there's also a player down here who I'm keeping an eye out on in terms of goalkeepers, and that's because he is yet another Bloemfontein Celtic goalkeeper, so there is a chance here to really raid those guys in terms of goalkeepers, albeit I don't think we'd want to buy both. It would be a bit over the top, but Simon Lekesa was the player who started in goal in that MTN8 final, and he looks like a quite promising young goalkeeper for Bloemfontein. So part of me wants to go and pinch one off Bloemfontein just because I know it would mess with them a bit, but we'll see which one looks the best for our needs. And yeah, I think we'll try and bring a goalkeeper in at the very least, and we'll see what else we do. It will probably depend on how much money we've got and if any decent young prospects do come through our scouting centre, but not a transfer window where I'm looking to do a lot of work. The main focus for us is bringing in a proper first choice goalkeeper, someone. I usually like having goalkeepers above, or just players in general, in the first 11 above that 3-star mark, and we don't have that here at the moment, so that could be something that we should be doing. I think when you do come back for tomorrow's episode, expect to see a new man in between the sticks, provided he can be registered for the Champions League, because that's the other thing that we do have to consider. But we will be back tomorrow. In terms of the game we'll come back for, looking at the month of February, at some point we've got the Nedbank popping up. We've got another game against Cape Town City, which looks the most interesting, but we've shown you guys games against them in the last few episodes, so we probably need to avoid them for a little while now. We're probably going to come back for that Stade Malien game. We did play them a few episodes ago and dealt to them fairly comfortably, but there is a chance that if we win that game, we will secure top of the group, and from there, as I said, we can kind of ignore the Champions League after that until we get to the knockouts, and we could come back after that potentially for a game against Bloemfontein Celtic, the only team that has beaten us so far this season here at SuperSport United. We will be looking to get revenge on them. But that will do for today's episode, and we'll come back tomorrow, round up the transfer window, and show you guys that game against Stade Malien. But if you did enjoy what you saw today and haven't done so already, remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you're new around here and haven't done so already, also hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated and helps with all that YouTube algorithm stuff. So until I see you tomorrow, when we will wrap up that transfer window, as I said, and try and qualify top of this Champions League group with a few games in hand. Thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.